We got one swimming off with a bait. That was the one that was up shallow. Let's calm back down until that rod goes. Look at that. Hooked up. Hooked up. Good guys, a little different pickings today. Got some small bluegill here that I'm gonna be using for bait. Heck, I'm just gonna put this one out whole. He's a small one. People always ask if I use live bait, and I do. Just not as much as I do cut bait. I like scent dispersion. But there are times and places where that cut bait does not perform as well as live bait. So we'll see how it goes today. We'll stick a few of them out here. Another one here. Hook him through the back. There we go. I'll put him on these rods that have these demon dragons with the rattles. Maybe that little bit of movement will attract some attention. This one set up here. I'm gonna get a piece of cut bluegill this time. I'm gonna tell you right now, old bluegill head, hard to beat. That right there is hard to beat when it comes to a piece of cut bait. Boom, we got one swimming off with a bait right here, guys. Yeah, that was the one that was up shallow. There we go, hooked up, hooked up, hooked up. Yeah, that fish was, that was one of the baits I put up here. A little bit shallower water toward the bank. He went that way. Good problem to have. This is one of the perch baits. Got some head shake, feels like a blue. A little head shake action. Hey, we'll get the skunk. That may be a fish. That's a fish there, it looks like, too, swimming off. Let's get this one up here and see what we got. Heck yeah, it's a good fish. I'm gonna have to net him. A little slappy action. Boom, in the net. There's a fish going off right there on that one. That's another piece of perch. Get him up here in the boat. We'll deal with him in a minute. There we go. Get a weight and a measurement in a second. Lay him down there. All right, let's see if this fish is still here. He had a lot of time to get away. He could have. He'll be coming right at the boat. Yep, there he is. There he is. See if we can keep him out of the anchor rope. Not as big. But man, anytime you can get doubled up, it's fun. I think he's liftable. Heck yeah, dude. 2 blues, real quick, on cut bait. Is he liftable? He might be bigger than I thought. He's as big, but sun's just coming up over the trees. Glorious day. There you go, guys. Thought this one was a little smaller, but he was not. Good looking fish. Good age class of fish. There you go. Get him back alive. It's a good age class of fish there. 10.44. Probably gonna be about the same length next year today. About 28 inches. Heck yeah. That's awesome. That's a heck of a way to start the morning. Wow, that was fast and furious. 2 fish, similar age class blues, that 10.5 pound range. And then boom, boom, some perch. And now it's calmed back down until that rod goes. Look at that. You cannot make this stuff up. Yeah, it got calm for a second. I kind of got stuff resituated here. And just when I started to talk, whole scheme of things, it's a good problem to have. Probably similar sized fish. Like I said, it's all cut bait today. I've got chicken in the cooler, and we used it the other day on a trip, but I'm telling you, with it being spring, there's a lot of fish pushed up shallow where we're at. I like using cut bait. I think they're in here feeding on crappie and bluegill that are in the area, and I think it's hard to beat bait wise. See if I can lift this fish. May be a bad idea. There we go. Get in here, girl. Got some mud on her belly. I'll explain that mud in a second. Let's get her unhooked and looked at her. How long's that one gonna be? 27. About the same size fish. It's a pretty fish. Good blue. Got some mud on the belly, you can see. We saw that on some guide trips the past couple of days. Tell everybody you love us. Tell them how nice we are. So the thing is with the mud, The bite here on this lake a couple of weeks ago was pretty good. It was kind of like it is today, kind of a good consistent bite. You were catching fish fairly quickly. Then we had a big rain, a couple inches of rain. It drove this lake up to full pond. On that rise, fish were biting, fishing was good. Because of the conditions we have weather-wise, they wanted to dump the water out of the lake. So boom, they drop it down another 3 feet. When that happened, bites slowed down. Similar for a lot of fish when that happens. You guys, other parts of the country, face the same thing. That's nothing unique to this reservoir, this system. I think what happened was when that happened, that drop happened, these fish kind of went a little bit dormant, kind of just laid around a little bit. And that's where this mud started showing up. A couple of weeks ago when the bite was on fire and doing really good, we weren't seeing that mud. We were actually seeing some good color on some of the fish. Almost some pre-spawn coloration, even though we're a month away from that. I think that drop in water temperature, rise in the fall, I think it kind of just locked these fish down for a little bit. And that'll happen. It'll happen anywhere in the country. Things can be on fire, and then a little spring weather change, dropping the temperatures like we've got this morning, it can affect the fishing. Usually it's not for long though. That's the great thing about spring. Usually it doesn't lock things up for a long time, and if you're staying out there and you got some opportunities to fish, you can usually get on some fish. We'll talk more about that weather change and what that can do here in a second. This one, guys, could be a problem. I've got an anchor right there. He tucked that bait from way up shallow. He is definitely under the anchor, and I can't tell if he's back over it. I think he is. We're gonna take a gamble. It worked. I think it worked. See if I can work him to the other side. Yeah, that fish was way back there on the bank, and I just happened to look down and see the line going that way. And he did a loop-de-loop around the anchor rope. Sometimes you take a gamble on which way he went around it. My gamble paid off. Big male. I'm gonna try lifting him in. Now, this is one of them fish some people would look at and might be saying, it looks like a big channel catfish. Thing to look at. It's not the color of the fish, not the shape of the head, none of that stuff. It's that anal fin, that back fin right there. It's kind of curved up. When you look at it, that outside edge is flat. It's got a flat outer edge on it. It's like a male. He's got that bigger mouth on him. He's got that long, slender body. Old river fish is what I call them. But yeah, that flat anal fin there, that flat outer edge is what determines whether you got a blue or channel cat. Channel cat's gonna be rounded. It looks like you take a pair of scissors, kind of cut it in half, but nice little fish. Not as big as the other ones, about the same length. Just ain't got the mass. He's ready to breed, ain't you, big boy? Yes, sir. Catch some fish. All right, guys, if you're keeping count, we put 4 catfish in the boat, all similar size. And if you notice, we got 6 rods in the water. How many of them did we put out with cut bait? 4. The 2 with live bait, which are right there, we ain't caught a fish on yet. 4 fish, less than an hour, every one of them on cut bait. I'm gonna switch these out to some cut bait over here. Like I said, I will use live bait. I'm not the biggest fan. I think if you're trying to catch a super duper ginormous fish and you wanna eliminate every other fish in the lake, put you on a 4-pound largemouth bass or a giant gizzard shad or a big old 2-pound skipjack and go at it. If you're like most people and you wanna catch some fish, you want to see some rod spin, I think you're better off going with cut bait. All right, guys, I think this one's swimming with a bait right here. Yes, sir. Hooked up. Hooked up. Man, you turn your head and these things are running off for stuff. He's coming at the boat. There we go. Turn. Sometimes they don't know they're hooked. All right, so I can't tell if he's a good fish. Get him out of my... I don't think he knew he was hooked till he got here at the boat. Boom, got him. I'll tell you what, guys, for catching, you can't beat this. Not a giant, but great fun fish to catch. Nice fun fish catching. Back alive. Yeah, the thing with weather in the spring, you got rain, you got systems that are moving through, you've got these warming temperatures, longer days, you know, heating of the atmosphere, and then you still have these fronts that are moving through. A lot of times these are cold fronts, the backside of them it can get cold, and it's just a lot of up and down volatility. But like I said in another video, you know, once you get past about that, you know, mid-April mark, things are trending better and better. Even if you have a bad slow time or one of these events, a couple of days and usually things are getting back to normal. Even here, they cleaned this lake out very quickly. We went from a lot of muddy water to what we call clear for this lake. Things can turn around quickly, so that's the beautiful thing about spring. You usually don't have to wait too long. And I know you guys in different parts of the country face different stuff. I see a lot of it on Facebook and in my videos, the comments and stuff. You're catching fish in one place, not catching them in another. It's perfectly normal. Don't feel like the Lone Ranger when you're out there and it's not working where you're at and you're seeing people on Facebook or YouTube catching fish. You know, that's just fishing, and that's the thing about looking at, you know, the whole country instead of your small area. A lot of times in those small areas, you know, it may be slow for whatever reason. Whatever that dynamic is where you're at can affect the fishing. So don't beat yourself up. Keep fishing.